Hi, so I want to give you a really simple technique that will improve any relationship. So if you're in a relationship right now and you're having some problems, perhaps you've got an issue that you just can't agree on, every time you sit down to talk about it you argue about it, and perhaps you're just looping and going round the same ground constantly. So this technique can be done together, but if you're at a point where you just really can't do this together right now, you can also do it yourself and it will still improve the relationship. It might take a little bit longer for the energy to seep in, but it will still also create a shift and a change so that you can allow those solutions to come in. So it's a gratitude practice. It involves sitting down with your partner and saying 3 things that you are grateful for them. So you could do this in the morning over a cup of coffee, you could do it in an evening when you have your tea, whatever, just once a day where you just let go of the issue, because if you're just looping around it, there's no point in continuing with the issue, because what we're doing here is we're shifting the energy and we're plugging back into those things that we love about our partner, those things that we appreciate about our partner. Because when we are often at each other's throats and we've got an issue that we can't resolve, then often both parties will start to feel not valued, will start to feel unappreciated, and that creates a defensiveness and it makes it quite difficult to then resolve those issues. So what you're going to do is sit down together, and you could either, if you don't, because this is also going to increase vulnerability as well and increase intimacy, so it has lots of benefits, but you're going to sit down and you're going to say to each other, I am really grateful for, and say what you're grateful for that person. So it's going to help you to remember as well. Remember all the things that they do for you that you love, and perhaps it's that they make you a cup of tea and bring it up to bed for you. Perhaps they run you a bath. Perhaps they're always thoughtful when they go to the shop and ask if you want anything. It can be anything that's really small or anything that's really big. So you want to say to their face, you want to look at them and say, I'm really grateful for this, and say 3 things, and they say 3 things back to you. Now if that feels uncomfortable, because actually sometimes it does feel uncomfortable for couples to do that with each other, especially if you're fighting. So you could also write it down. You could write it down and you could give it to your partner at breakfast over coffee, and they can read it themselves, and you can read yours yourself as well. And if you do this and commit to doing this practice for perhaps 7 days, something like this, or just keep doing it for as long as you can and you want, you're going to find that it absolutely shifts the energy that you're in, because it's shifting your focus. So it shifts the energy that you're in. It starts to create a safe space. It starts to bring a balance and a harmony back into the relationship, and then you will see that the solutions that you need will come to you easy. You'll both feel much more in a position where you can compromise with each other, where you can see each other's perspectives, where you can find some middle ground that works for both, and it will really bring you closer together. And like I said, actually build a lot of intimacy, and it's something you can use in all relationships, if you're struggling in any relationship, with family, with friends. Now if you can't do this together because things are really bad and you know that you still want to be in this relationship, then you can do this practice yourself as well. You can write down the things that you're happy and grateful for this person, and just by doing that, because we are actually all connected, and we're all actually connected through a web of consciousness. So because you are actually connected through this web of consciousness, then when you're doing that, their subconscious mind is actually picking up these messages. So even though you're not doing it consciously, subconsciously they're connecting into that energy, and also it's changing your energy towards them. You're softening towards them, and that helps them to drop their defensiveness as well, because we are energetic beings and our energy does speak. So you can do it on your own. Now if you cannot find anything to be grateful for your partner, then perhaps this practice does something else for you. It perhaps gets you to question why you're in the relationship in the first place, because sometimes we stay in relationships out of fear, and they're just false experiences appearing real, subconscious fears. So if you can't find anything to be grateful for, then that perhaps can help you to start asking the questions as to, well, why am I in this relationship? But hopefully you can, and I promise you, if you do this practice, it will shift that energy and the solutions will just pour in.